Hello guys, how are you today and welcome to my new video. So, as you may have seen on my channel, I reviewed every day of Formula 1 pre-season testing. Now though, I want to review the whole thing as one whole big test and sort of give my opinions, and I want to know what you guys think as well. So before we start, we should probably remember that some teams might have been trying to hide their pace or something, so we don't know fuel loads, we don't know what setting the engine was on, and we don't know about sandbagging. You know, how if they try to make the car heavier to make the car slower, and ultimately we won't really know the true pace until 2 weeks' time in Melbourne after the Australian Grand Prix. But let's go through each team, and let's see what I can say. So, Mercedes. Big interesting thing I would say from Mercedes was that Bottas actually set a faster lap than Hamilton. Also, they weren't always comfortable with their car. Particularly Hamilton said this a couple of times. I don't know if they're playing mind games with other teams or whatever, or if he's playing mind games with Bottas already, but Bottas did set a faster lap time, so for Mercedes, will Bottas be able to challenge Hamilton? Like when he joined, I thought Hamilton would be able to beat him quite easily, but maybe I'm being proved wrong. And a lot of people are being proved wrong, I don't know. And it's something, Hamilton versus Bottas, I am really looking forward to it. Now, the big news from testing, overall, Ferrari. They actually set the fastest lap time by quite a long way. Raikkonen set the fastest lap time quicker than Mercedes. And will they be able to challenge them? Like last season, if I would have done a video like this, okay, I wasn't really doing YouTube, I would have talked about maybe Ferrari being able to challenge Mercedes because they look pretty close. But when we came to Melbourne, Mercedes were 8 tenths of a second faster. But this time it looks like Ferrari are the faster team based on testing. And there's a lot of excitement anyway. Will they be able to challenge Mercedes for the championship this year? Ferrari have struggled a lot in recent years, but maybe this is the year to do it. And also, Ferrari didn't really have any huge mechanical issues. They had one or two spins, and I think they broke down once, but they didn't really have any big issues. Mercedes did have one or two niggly issues, like electrical issues, but it wasn't a big problem. They did still manage over 100 laps, I think, every day combined. And I think that is the big story in F1 at the moment. Will Ferrari be able to challenge and ultimately beat Mercedes? Next, Red Bull. Well, over one lap, they seem to be pretty close. However, on Thursday, at the same time, Ricciardo and Vettel were doing a race simulation, and as it turns out, Ricciardo's lap times were 1 second a lap slower than the Ferrari, or Vettel, suggesting that Red Bull are struggling with their race pace, which is pretty scary for them. Also, other big issue for Red Bull, reliability. They have still got issues with their Renault engine. Renault, are still struggling with the engine a bit, which obviously affects Red Bull, Toro Rosso, and of course the Renault Works team. And I don't know, it's pretty difficult for them because Ricciardo and Verstappen both deserve World Championship winning car, and they could risk losing either of these drivers possibly to Mercedes at the end of the season, and that would be a disaster for them because they got I would say the best driver lineup on the grid. I don't know if you'd agree with me on that. That's a good question for the comments. Who has the best driver lineup in terms of team in the 2017 season? Tell me in the comments. But yeah, Red Bull, I'm sure they'll be able to improve like they did at last season, but it looks like they're going to have a slow start to this season, which obviously makes it difficult for any of their drivers to win the championship, although I'm sure they'll be able to win some races towards the end. You would expect Red Bull to do well this season, really, because it's more about aerodynamics, and historically they've been pretty good with that, but maybe not so much now. Okay, so now let's talk about the midfield. Williams. I predicted them originally to have a very poor season, actually, but it looks like I'm going to be proved wrong. My predictions were a bit rubbish, to be honest, as you're going to see, but, Williams, they set the fastest lap time on some of the days. Massa looks amazing at the moment, to be honest, which is interesting. It sort of brings up the question as well about Massa and Raikkonen, because both Massa and Raikkonen have been fast in testing. And I saw one for days that they were fast in the last high downforce era of like 2007, 2008, and they seem fast again, so maybe that's their way and their style. And in this new era of Formula 1, the older drivers like Raikkonen and Massa will thrive. And I guess that's something to really look forward to because I think we all sort of want them to be towards the top of the sport. Anyway, the issue for Williams is Lance Stroll. He did improve, but in the first week, he had some big he had crashes. They had one or two little reliability issues as well, but they did have crashes. Lance Stroll crashed 3 times in 2 days, meaning they didn't get as much testing time. And Massa had more work to do, and Lance Stroll, being a new driver, has to get used to the car. But I guess that's not so important at the moment though, because new cars. All the drivers are rookies in these new cars, essentially, because they all have to get used to them, as they're completely different. But Lance Stroll hopefully will improve and won't become the new Pastor Maldonado, as a lot of people on Twitter have suggested. Now, Renault. Reliability. They had reliability issues with Renault engine, as I've said. Hulkenberg and Palmer both had their running curtailed a few times. Although, in terms of pace, they don't look too bad. And hopefully they've improved in comparison to last season. Because as a works team, they should be towards the top of the sport. Now, McLaren, and this is the second biggest story of testing. Reliability. That's what we can talk about them. They were very slow in terms of pace, but probably their engine wasn't quite a low setting. But engine problems all the time with Honda. You would have thought by now they could have sorted out their issues. It's so disappointing. It's so damn disappointing. But they haven't been able to sort out their issues. 3 years Honda have been supplying engines now. This is their third season, and they still haven't sorted it out. It's still so far behind Mercedes and Ferrari, and Renault as well. This is such an awkward situation for them. And Alonso has really been coming out and being critical of Honda. This is so disappointing. And it's bad for Van Dorn as well, because he's a new driver. He wants a good car. He deserves it, I would say. And Alonso, he might leave the sport because of this, if he's not in a competitive car. I think that would be pretty sad to say that he leaves because he can't win. He should race anyway, in my opinion. But it's so sad that McLaren and Honda, all the history in their name, aren't really anywhere. So now the last few teams to talk about. The Haas team. Ford team was still quite new in F1. I'd say they've done pretty good. Their car is very similar to the Ferrari, and they haven't really had that many issues. They had 1 or 2 issues on the last couple of days, but they generally managed a high level of laps. They weren't too far off the pace. They were somewhere in the midfield, and I think they'll be quite excited going into the new season. And I would say a similar thing about Force India. They were nothing special. Last season was probably a special season for Force India, doing much better than some people would expect. And yes, they have lost one of their top drivers, Nico Hulkenberg, but I think they're going to have a fairly solid season. I don't think that they're going to be able to get any higher than 4th place in the constructors that they had last year. Now we're going to last couple of teams. Toro Rosso, reliability, of course, the Renault engine, they've had some issues. Obviously Kvyat, a little bit dodgy sometimes, and we'll have to see how he does this season. Huge year for him, but when they've had no reliability issues, the Toro Rosso has been quite fast. And I think this could be ambitious. I reckon they might get a podium this year, probably with Carlos Sainz. I reckon Toro Rosso can get a podium this year. Do you agree with me? Tell me in the comments. Lastly, Sauber. We sort of expect them to be towards the back of the grid. Pascal Wehrlein's got his first chance to drive a new Sauber, which is good for him. But I don't really expect anything too exciting from them. But hopefully they won't be too far off the pace. So, to end this video, I just want to see in the comments, can you tell me what you think the running order will be for F1 this season? And any other comments based on this video, please feel free to leave them in the comments. Thank you for watching my video. If you enjoyed this video, please remember to leave a like. If you have anything to say about this video, please leave a comment in the comments section below. If you really enjoyed this video and you want to see more videos like this and other types of videos, please subscribe to my channel. Also go and check out the video that should be on screen right now. And on that note, I'll just ask you to follow me on Twitter at BigGaming342 and like my Facebook page, BigGaming342. And I'll see you guys very, very soon. Goodbye.